Bahrain, second week of testing. No championship points on the line, no crowd, no cameras counting laps.
Honestly, I don't think it's more dangerous
Something
than
happened in
before.
that desert
It's definitely not
heat
dangerous.
that sent
You
can always start
shockwaves
from the pit
through
lane.
every
You feel
engineering
unsafe.
department on the
Exactly.
grid. Ferrari's SF26 wasn't the fastest car on the stopwatch. It wasn't blowing up qualifying simulations. But when the long runs began, engineers from rival teams started looking at each other across the pit lane. Something wasn't right. Or maybe something was too right. Because in Formula One, when a car behaves that perfectly, someone always starts asking questions. And this time, the someone asking questions was the FIA itself. Here's what triggered the alarms. It wasn't a visible piece. It wasn't a radical new wing or a controversial floor. It was something deeper, something structural. Something you can only see when you cross-reference sector data across 30 laps of fuel-loaded running. The SF26's rear tire was entering its thermal window with extreme precision, and more importantly, it was staying there, lap after lap. No abrupt peaks, no sudden drop-off, just clean, linear, almost mechanical consistency in rear degradation. In Bahrain, a circuit famous for punishing rear tires through abrasion, traction zones, and lateral loading, that kind of behavior doesn't happen by accident. Engineers from rival teams began digging, sector by sector, phase by phase. And that's when the first real flag appeared. The SF26's advantage wasn't just in corner exit, it was in the transition before the exit, that precise moment where the car settles its platform before the driver even touches the throttle. That window, milliseconds long, where everything either works together or falls apart. That pointed directly to one thing: rear suspension geometry and dynamic ride height control. But that was just the start. Because when teams looked at how the car moved on the straight versus under braking, they noticed something else. The SF26 breathed differently. On the straight, it ran free. Under braking, it compressed with a smoothness that generated almost zero rebound, no oscillation, no instability. That clean transition is what raised the second flag. And the third? When the FIA began connecting the dots, extreme platform stability, controlled thermal behavior, linear degradation, they didn't wait. They requested data, dynamic heights, aerodynamic behavior maps, internal rear tire temperature records, suspension movement across load transfer phases. No accusation, but a magnifying glass placed on Maranello before the season even officially started. And in Formula One, when the Federation asks for data before race one, it means something caught too much attention to ignore. Now, shift the scene. Same week, different room. Post-Bahrain testing. A press conference. 3 drivers, 1 topic that had nothing to do with Ferrari.
Honestly, I don't think it's more dangerous than before.
It's definitely not dangerous.
You can always start from the pit lane. You feel unsafe.
Exactly.
And yet revealed everything about the mood in that paddock. The subject? The new, longer hold drift procedure for race starts. Valtteri Bottas spoke first. Calm, measured. I don't think it's more dangerous than before. My only concern is drivers at the back of the grid. Once you start your hold drift, the lights will already be going, and you won't have enough time to get the turbos spinning. A legitimate concern, a real technical problem. The kind of detail only drivers living inside these cars would notice. Then, Hamilton. Precise, controlled. It's definitely not dangerous. It's just a longer procedure. You can still pull away. You'll probably anti-stall a couple of times. But dangerous? No. Professional, measured. The voice of a man who had clearly done his homework. And then, Verstappen. Without missing a beat, without a single pause. You could always start from the pit lane if you feel unsafe. The room laughed, but underneath that laugh was something sharper, a reminder of the dynamic that never really changes in this paddock. Max Verstappen doesn't do diplomacy, he does dominance, even in press conferences. 3 drivers, 3 responses, 3 personalities laid completely bare in under 60 seconds. But the real story wasn't in that room. It was back in the garage, back with Hamilton, back with what was quietly building inside the man wearing Ferrari red. To understand what Hamilton said after testing ended, you have to understand how dark the year before truly was. His first season at Ferrari produced something that felt statistically impossible: a full 24-race calendar. Lewis Hamilton, 0 podiums. Not a bad run, not an unlucky patch, 0. The paddock noticed. Former champions questioned his hunger. Pundits wrote the ending before he did. And the pressure inside Ferrari, a team that carries history and expectation in equal measure, was relentless. But here's what most people missed. Hamilton didn't crack. He went quiet. No excuses, no deflection, just work. Long debriefs, endless simulations, hours of feedback with engineers. Not chasing headlines, chasing understanding. And then came the reset nobody saw coming. With the 2026 regulations, for the first time since joining Ferrari, Hamilton wasn't adapting to something already defined. He was helping build something from zero. And the SF26, whatever the FIA investigation ultimately concludes, gave him something his first year never did: a foundation he could feel. When testing ended, Hamilton posted a message. Simple, calm, and yet it landed like a warning shot. I'm reset and renewed. I'm not going anywhere. That wasn't motivation talk. That was a line drawn in the sand, directed not at fans, fans never left, but at every voice that had grown comfortable writing his ending.
3 storylines, 1 paddock, and all of them converging at the same point. If the FIA reviews Ferrari's data and finds everything legal, the message to the grid is devastating. It means Ferrari found a superior interpretation of the regulations in the most critical area of a modern racing car: rear platform stability and its direct impact on tire thermal management. Rivals can't copy that in 2 weeks. Redesigning suspension philosophy takes months. And if that advantage holds, Ferrari doesn't react to strategy. Ferrari forces strategy. They extend stints, they cover undercuts, they make rivals pit early. That's not speed, that's control. But if the FIA issues a technical directive, even without declaring anything illegal, Ferrari's thermal balance changes overnight. The strategic flexibility disappears, and they return to the same margin as everyone else. Meanwhile, Hamilton, mentally rebuilt, belief restored, either becomes Ferrari's greatest asset in the new era, or faces the cruel possibility that the car still isn't ready to match his intent. And Verstappen watches, as he always does, quietly, patiently, knowing that dynasties don't fall from outside pressure. They fall the moment they start believing they're untouchable. Scenario 1. The FIA clears Ferrari completely. The SF26 concept is validated. Hamilton's reset is real, and for the first time in years, Maranello doesn't just compete for wins, it competes for everything. Scenario 2. A technical directive forces Ferrari to soften its rear geometry. The advantage evaporates. Hamilton's renewed belief collides with a car that can no longer deliver what testing promised, and the doubts return. Scenario 3. The investigation drags deep into the season. Ferrari races under constant scrutiny, every update examined, every adjustment questioned, and in that pressure cooker, we find out who Hamilton really is now. Has Ferrari genuinely found the cleverest rear platform concept in modern Formula One? Or has a magnifying glass just exposed the one thing Ferrari can't afford to lose, the element of surprise? And Hamilton, reset, renewed, and refusing to fade. Is this the beginning of his true Ferrari era? Or the final chapter of the greatest career the sport has ever seen? One thing is certain, the answers won't come in press conferences. They won't come in data requests or technical directives. They'll come on track. Lap 1, race 1. And that is exactly where this story gets interesting. If you made it this far, you already know this season isn't about who's fastest, it's about who survives the politics. So tell me, is Ferrari holding the greatest legal trick in F1 history? Or is the FIA about to change everything?